Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Yamamoto Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today I'm here with IFBB Pro Charles Griffen. Welcome, my friend.
How you guys doing?
Good. You're really climbing up the ranks here. Second place at the Muscle Mayhem in Kansas City. Your highest placing to date. That's got to be a true feather in your cap. Every time I see you out on that stage, you get better and better and better. You keep improving and bringing more size, more conditioning to the table. Talk to us a little bit. What's the last year in your life has been like?
And it's been great. You know, it's been real great. After I did the Frigno, I placed 5th place at the Frigno, and we're kind of getting ready for the Arnold just in case I sent my bite in and they were going to accept me. So, you know, I kept my food 95% clean just in case they're going to pick me up for the Arnold. I didn't get picked. And, you know, that was just a good little boost for me right there to see what the clean food is going to do for me on the off season instead of eating all this food. And, you know, it made the prep that much easier, right? Usually when I start prep, I lose about 10 pounds in the first 3 or 4 days. This time, my weight just stayed because of all the good food I was eating on off season. So, you know, we had a real good, productive improvement season, and this last competing season was like out of this world. I was very pleased with everything I brought to the stage this year.
Now, in 2015, I remember I was there at the NPC Nationals when you won your pro card, you won that heavyweight class, and we said, man, if this guy put more size on, he's going to be a very, very dangerous guy up on that stage. You did exactly that at the Ferrigno Legacy Classic, which you just prefaced at the end of last year. You placed 5th. That was a terrific top 5 placing. You applied to do the Arnold, but obviously didn't get in this year, which might have been a blessing in disguise for you. It gave you more time to prepare for the Muscle Mayhem show. When you showed up in Kansas City and you saw the lineup that you were going up against, you know, that was a pretty, you know, impressive group of guys you had to go up against. Did you think you had a shot at possibly winning?
Yeah, you know, because I did my first show this year was the Cal Pro, and you know, I finally seen how big I looked on stage after the Cal Pro, so that confidence I needed to go on stage saying I'm big enough to compete with all these other guys, I saw myself at like, okay, I got enough size. I just got to make sure I bring that conditioning. And when I seen that lineup, I'm not gonna lie, when I seen Victor and these names on there, it was like, man, you know, I only been competing for 3 years, and Muscle Mayhem marked my 3rd year competing, and I was going against some of the bigger names. And, you know, I feel like if Victor was going to Chicago and not Muscle Mayhem, I would have been, you know, getting ready for Olympia this year. But damn it, Victor had to pick the show I had to do.
Charles, when you're being assessed, or you're assessing your own physique, I should say, and you're going over contest photos, you know, and we're looking at some of the photos from the Chicago Pro that you did. What do you look at? Like when I used to look at my pictures, and I've said this before, I always thought I looked like absolute dog shit. I always saw the terrible things about myself. When you look at these pictures, what's the good and what's the bad that you see?
You know, some of the good I've seen on those photos, like I said, I always bring that conditioning. I always bring my conditioning. And some of the bad that I saw on that is, you know, my back double bicep used to be my best pose from the back, and now my lat spread was the best. So when I did my back double bicep, I felt like my back wasn't as thick as some of the competitors on the top. So I want to make sure I get back on this improvement season and bring out some of that, bring out that upper back when I do my back biceps to make that thickness. You know, I do feel my look at Muscle Mayhem was a little better, but, you know, we're just trying to dial in on the conditioning, so we might have dropped a couple more pounds and it made me look a certain way, but, you know, we're still learning. It's a learning process. Every show is different. You know, we're getting better with every show. We're seeing what my body could take as we go on. This is my first time doing 3 shows back to back like that.
Did you think you should have won any of those shows that you were very close at? I mean, did you look at the thing and say, man, I think I should have won this show?
You know, I honestly, like, my worst, I liked how I looked at Chicago, but out of those 3, I think the Chicago was my worst look. But I really, truly felt like I should have won the Cal Pro and the Muscle Mayhem. I felt like I brought it enough to win those shows. You know, I got some critiques from the judges at the Cal Pro. They said I need to be a little bit tighter. Yeah, I could have been a little bit tighter, but my conditioning was there, and I had that much more size than the other guys that played ahead of me. And at Muscle Mayhem, I really thought I should have won that, but I'm going against one of the icons of the of bodybuilding, Victor Martinez, and that was one of the best victories we saw in a long time. But I'm not trying to knock anybody, this and that. I believe in myself, and I truly feel I should have won those two shows.
The Cal Pro, this is the problem with judging. A lot of times the judges will judge you against what they feel that your best is, not necessarily about who's up there on stage with you. And I think that's what happened at the Cal Pro. I think you're probably right. I think you probably should have placed a lot higher at the Cal Pro, but I think they said, man, we know this guy could be that much better. When you stepped on that stage against Victor at the Muscle Mayhem, I think you kind of brought your best look ever at that point. And I think, once again, I think you were a victim of the fact that, Victor's got the structure, he's got the legend behind him. He was pretty damn good for Victor Martinez, and I think he just narrowly, edged you out at this show. But I think this is a good look for you. What would you like to see yourself improve upon moving forward, given what you saw this year that you brought to the stage?
My coach, Tim Johnson, we sat down. He was like, we want to put some pictures next to each other and see what body parts that we want to improve on. And the way I looked at it, I told him I want to improve on everything. I just don't want to pinpoint one thing. I want to go in like judges told me that I need to improve on every body part. So we're going to make sure in the gym, I'm not just spinning my wheels in here just lifting weights. We really put some time into this improvement season and making sure I'm doing the right exercises for each muscle to bring out each muscle as it needs improvement. One of my body parts might be better, but I see it as they're all weak, and I want to bring them all up. So I'm concentrating on bringing everything up. I want to be competing next year on the stage at a shredded 240-something pounds. That's my goal.
Do you think you were a victim of your own success or unsuccess, I should say, in the sense that you didn't win the overall at the NPC Nationals in 15, and sometimes because of that, you don't get the hype and the fanfare that the overall champion gets. You kind of had to really work your way through the ranks and gain the respect on the pro level that maybe you never really got because you almost turned pro too quickly, in a sense.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, me and my coach had talked about that, because I was only been in the game when I turned pro 17 months, so nobody knew about it. So yeah, I think I am a victim of my success because I didn't win overall, and who has really hurted me? My name really came out when I placed third place at the USA's when me, Cody, and Drew, when we placed that top three. So that's when my name came out. So yeah, I do see that me being a victim of my own success. People not really hearing about me. I heard you and the technician was talking about that, like I'm one of the most underrated, unknown bodybuilders out there. And that's true. I think that is very true.
Well, now that you're on the map, now you have a little more pressure on you because people are going to be expecting to see improvements. They're going to be expecting to see you come onto that stage with an even better look than you came before. What's the game plan now? Do you shut it down for the rest of the season and wait till next year, or do you have any plans for maybe the post-Olympia tour?
Well, my thing was I was doing Olympia. I want to be on Olympia. That's what I was thinking. Olympia. Whatever shows we got to do to get to the Olympia. So I was like, I'm fifth on the place right now with points. So I didn't have my passport to go do Vancouver. And then I wanted to do Tampa, but see, I get in with points with Tampa, placing in the top 5. Then I got to turn around and do Olympia. And the way I see the best, for me to have the best productive season going forward next year, is to shut it down this year, make improvements that I need to make, and try to push and get into the Arnold this year. So we're shutting it down for the whole 2017 and hopefully get accepted to the Arnold. And we'll do the Indianapolis Pro on March 30th. So that's our plan, just to shut it down, get the most out of this improvement season that we could get, and, get ready for the 2018 season. Because my body was responding after each show I was doing it, responding good. But pretty soon my body was going to give up on me and be like, when it's off season, it's not going to want to behave like it's supposed to because I've been going on so long. So we decided to shut it down so I could kill it next season and be on that Olympia stage and be on this Arnold stage and whatnot.
I think it's a good move on your part because I don't think you had a chance really of breaking the top 6 at the Olympia, and I know that's in your mind what you probably want to do. So taking this year off, no doubt in my mind that you'll get invited to the Arnold next year now because of all the great placings you've had. this season. And I think making a bold statement on the Arnold stage with bringing more conditioning, even more muscle, would be a real unveiling. Because if you can place top 5 at that Arnold Classic, you're certainly going to become a household name after that.
That's our plans. That's our plans. Yeah, I understand. I never thought about it like that. I just don't want to step on an Olympic stage and be like, I stepped on an Olympic stage and I placed 18th or 19th place. I don't want that, So the way you just said it right now is a good move, because I wouldn't place that top 6. Because that top 6 right now, I believe in myself. I'm not doubting myself, but that top 6, top 7, top 8 is real deadly this year. And yes, I wouldn't have probably got in those positions, but me shutting it down next year, that would give me a better chance to make that top 8, top 6 next year. That's our plan. So I never thought about it that way. That's some good thinking right there. So I'm going to give my coach, Tim Johnson, some props on, really telling me to shut it down, because I was about to fight him, but he said, this is the best move for us. So I listened to him.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned earlier that you haven't really been training or competing that long. You kind of turned pro after 17 months. How old are you at this point?
35.
Okay, so give us a little idea of why you started so late in bodybuilding. How did you get involved with the sport?
Man, I always been lifting, always had great genetics, this and that. And basically when my mom had passed in 2012, for a year and a half, I fell off the deep end. A lot of drugs, a lot of drinking, a lot of this. And I just saw myself deteriorating. I'm like, this is not what my mom raised, and this and that. Needed structure and discipline. And what better else was going to give me structure and discipline than bodybuilding? So February 2014, I said, let me compete in my first show. Won the Mr. Minnesota, the overall light heavyweight. And that was when I had true happiness in my life. Like, since my mom passed, and she was like saying, this is what you're supposed to do. Be happy and enjoy life. And ever since then, man, life has been great. I've been enjoying this and enjoying this bodybuilding. And, like, I'm a little older, but, bodybuilding is an old man sport. So I'm still young in this sport. And with me being 35 and not beating up my body for so many years like these other 35, 36-year-olds do, I really feel like that gives me a little edge down the road, that my body's going to be a lot more healthier than these guys that's been doing it my age for 10 to 12 years,
Other guys out there who might be listening to this, Charles, who maybe are in that same depressive state, maybe they lost a loved one, or things are not going well in their life, they lost their job. What kind of advice can you give them? How did you pull yourself out of the deepest depths of despair, where you were drinking and you were doing drugs and stuff like that? How do you just stop that? Was there anything that happened to you, or did you just make a decision to stop?
I just made a decision to stop, because either I was going to be dead or in jail, and that is how my mom wanted me to live my life. I was out here doing drugs and drinking and riding my motorcycle 120, 130 miles per hour, late nights. And one day I just looked at myself, and I wasn't sleeping, and I was just partying this and that. And I looked at myself and like, I need to change. Do I want to die behind what my mom, my mom passed it? And when she was here, I was doing all the drinking and all this partying and all that and all this. So now, once I look back on it, I feel like my mom gave her life to give me life, to inspire others and stuff like that. Because when me getting messages from people saying I'm inspiring them, doing this, doing that, it's unbelievable to me, because I've never been that person. I was a person to inspire people to party, this and that. So I feel like my mom gave her life to give me life and to help others down the road and give them life. You know what I mean? So I was mad at one point, but now I see that it's a master plan to everything. You just got to have faith and believe in what you want, and just, want to do better for yourself.
When you turn pro, and when you're up there on stage, getting great placings and the audience is cheering for you, do you feel like the spirit of your mom inside of you? Can you feel a connection?
Oh my God. The first show I did, I felt goosebumps the whole day, and it was just unbelievable. It was crazy. And at Nationals, I felt her there with me, and it was just like, I just started crying, you know what I mean? And I sat there and I saw some of the girls turn pro, and they weren't crying. And I'm like, damn, am I a big baby? Because I got hot tears coming out of my eyes, because it felt real good. But it was just like the best moment. I couldn't explain it. I'm still on cloud 9 from everything.
Well, Charles, you sound like a great guy. I'm so happy for you with the placings this year. Next year, I think it's going to be a huge year for you. Good luck to you and your coach on this off season, putting on some size, and I'm hoping to see you up on that Arnold Classic stage in 2018.
I will be there.
Congratulations again, man. All right, and that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Yamamoto Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we'll see you next time.